This week on the Big Boss Book Club, I'll be going over my experiences from the Flesh and Blood UK Nationals, how I made a total hash of the whole thing, despite being unbelievably well prepared on multiple occasions before the event. All that this week on the Big Boss Book Club. Welcome back to Season 7. And I mean welcome back because if you've already tried to listen to this episode before, you'll realise that there was no volume. Because unbeknownst to me, which you would think quality control would be a critical thing at this point, in this instant it wasn't, because I was kind of rushing to get the episode out. My microphone wasn't working. Oh, you'll have to give me a minute. Yeah, so my microphone wasn't working. So I released a completely blank podcast with the exception of the random clips and even my pre-recorded stuff hasn't been recorded. Pre-recorded that maybe a week ago. My housekeeping segment where I give you all my social stuff, the what to expect this season, my intro was all recorded like a week ago, and somehow I didn't even notice then that my microphone wasn't working. So you had a completely blank episode. I've double, triple checked this time. It isn't blank. You should be hearing me right now. So we're going to talk about the Flesh and Blood Nationals. I'm sorry, I'm now 24 hours late in getting this to you. It'll probably be a bit shorter than the original run, maybe a bit longer because I've just had a bit of a mini rant there. But anyway, onto the story. Unfortunately, it wasn't the best weekend. And what I mean by that is we didn't really get the full experience. That's what I mean by that. So myself and season regular Martin, we jumped in the car. Unfortunately, a little bit later than I really wanted to be. I didn't get to pick Martin up till I think it was like a little bit after 3 o'clock. By the time we got to Leeds, where the Flesh and Blood UK Nationals was being held, I think it was something like 4:10. We had to get parked up in the car park. We had to go to the hotel, drop our stuff off, and get checked in. We then had to get back to the venue. By the time we got there and back, and I think it was maybe 5:02, 10:02, 5, but it was very close to 5 o'clock. The side event, I think it was the last side event of the day, was in full swing. We were not going to be getting in on that. Obviously we didn't qualify for nationals anyway, so we weren't in the nationals. So it was very much a case of, oh, okay, cool. Well, we'll just have some games then, and we'll just try and meet up with people as they come, which was a great plan. Me and Martin made a couple of games, a bit of a giggle. We had a beer, of course, and then we went back to the hotel, dropped some bits off, picked some stuff up, wandered back to the venue, hoping. Well, we actually went to the Holiday Inn bar because a lot of the people will stay in the Holiday Inn because it's just super close to the venue. We were a little bit further away, and we figured, well, we'll let people know we're in the bar, and hopefully a few people will float in. And I took my War of the Monarchs cube, which I pilfered from Dead Summer, who's a huge Flesh and Blood lore fan. They've done like a War of the Monarch cube. They put it on the Fresh and Bloods Discord, so if you are in there, go check it out. I've built it as well. A few changes here and there, just to really suit what I had available, and just to make some changes that I felt more appropriate with. But overall, it's pretty cool. I've spent a lot of money putting it in sleeves in a super nice box. I thought we'll take this with us and we'll play, hopefully get 8 people. And even if we get 4 people, we can still do sealed because it still makes 24 booster packs. So we could even just do like a Monarch Dusk Till Dawn hybrid sealed event, and it should still be reasonably fun. Unfortunately, Ian had been he'd stuck it out for the nationals, and he basically said, "I'm in bed. I've got my food. I've got a beer. I'm not sure I'm going to be moving again." um, Callum disappeared, and we didn't see him again. So, yeah, it just me and Martin kind of hanging out. We thought, oh, maybe a few others might want to jump in, but I think people were either practicing for Blitz the next day or they wanted to go for food and drinks and stuff. So I kind of made the decision that we were just going to kind of chill out. So me and Martin went back to the hotel. We went to Tesco first and got a meal deal. Then finished, had another beer, and then went back to the hotel. Um, went down, had another couple of drinks in the hotel bar where we were. We didn't have any draft beer on. Was like, oh, we've only got bottles, which was fine if the fridges worked properly. Because I had a pear cider, and it was kind of like lukewarm. It was not good. um, we basically said, oh, you know what, we're going to go get some food. So we went and got pizzas from a kebab house nearby. The Little Oven, I think it was called, if I remember correctly. Square pizzas. If you've not had it before, I was pretty impressed. I'll give it credit where credit's due. Um, so yeah, we went back to the hotel, and this is where things really started to take a downward turn. We're writing our deck lists up. We're getting sorted for the next day, just before we head back up to the room. I'd made the decision I was going to play as Chain. So to put a bit of context, I was either going to play as Vincent or going to play as Chain. I got these two decks with me. I needed to swap cards between them, but I was like, I'm playing one or the other, so it doesn't matter. I'd made the decision earlier in the day to play as Chain after our practice games at the venue, where Martin just absolutely annihilated Vincent consistently. So I was like, well, I'm not taking that. Not when I had a 1-1 win rate with Chain. So I was writing my list for Chain, and I realised I'd only got 50 cards, not 52 cards. I was like, what? Where are the two cards? What are these two cards that I'm missing? So I had all the cards out on the table, and I was looking. I was like, I don't know what's missing here. Jumped online, looked on Fabry, looked at my deck list, realised I was missing two copies of Blue Pitch Bounding Demigon. Now, I then started to panic because I didn't. I put a message in the Discord. Anybody got them? No one came back to me and said, I've got them. You can have them. No one. As far as I was aware, none of the vendors at the event were selling commons. It was just kind of like M plus cards and foils, some like choice foils. So I started panicking. Now you may be thinking, well, Tom, why didn't you just switch to Vincent? Well, I'd done a massive trade in to get a coal foil Marvel Bravo Star of the Show for my collection. And the guy's buy list had Oblivion on it. Now I have two copies of Oblivion. I had one non-foil, one foil. My foil is in my collection folder, my Voltex Just Pink collection folder. Use the code BigBossVX at checkout for 10% off. And I thought, well, I've got this non-foil one in my deck. This guy wants it. I don't want to pay for this Bravo. I want to trade in as much as possible. Here you go, mate. Have this as well. So I ended up trading my Oblivion in. So already I'm down a card, which, okay, isn't the most critical card, but when you've not got your quote-unquote collection with you, it suddenly becomes very important that you don't that you're not getting rid of cards from decks. So unfortunately, I was then like, oh great, so I can't play as Vincent. I can't play as Chain unless I'm lucky enough to find somebody who's got either they've been handed in somewhere because I'm an idiot and I've dropped them, or I'm lucky enough to find someone who's got them and will loan them me, and I'll just swap in cards as opposed to have extra sleeves. Yeah, no. So I was like, oh, for crying out loud. Okay, well, I've got Bravo CC with me. I'll cut it down to 40 cards, and I'll just run Bravo. You know what? I've got plenty of experience with Bravo. I've been running it in Blitz for ages on like Talishar. Let's just do that. So we get the Bravo out. We start cutting it down. Realize we're missing two cards. Imposing Visage, which I don't play in my CC version, but I do play it in my Blitz version. And I was very much adamant that I didn't want to play a random thrown together deck. If I'm going into this, I want to play something that's I've got the list for. So basically just decided, okay, I'll just have to put in a subpar card into Vincent and just hope for the best. So we'll go back up to the room. I've got some bits with me. I put in, I think it's another red, I think I put in like a red attack or something. I was like, that'll do. I'll just have to come to peace with it and deal with it. Or see if someone can loan me Oblivion for the event, and then I can hand them back after. So that was it, really. Just this harrowing sense of defeat and loss, because I'd been prepared for this event for like weeks. Like I'd made sure I'd got the deck lists. Well, not the deck list, but I'd made sure I'd got like the deck sorted. I'd got my quiver arranged correctly. Planning like it's going to be one of these two heroes. This is, and then to be like, oh, okay, I can't really play as either because I'm really missing cards from both that aren't so easily replaced. And also, I didn't realize that the vendors were Mox in the Hole were in fact selling commons and rares. So, bit of egg on my face the next day, but we'll. Do you know what? We'll just go straight into it. The first one had a break. Let's not do the break. Let's just go for it. Day 2 comes around. It's 7:30 in the morning. I am angry. I am up. I am angry. I am frustrated. I am not happy to be here anymore. And I'm looking at my quiver, and I realise that I've got a KO UPF deck with me. It's specifically designed for UPF. It's like this rounds on me's, Coaxer Commotions, Gorganian Tome, No Good Deed. It's got all the UPF cards in. This, it's not a serious deck. It's just not. And I said, all I need to do is take out like 6 cards and replace them, and that would just be a blitz deck. So that's what I did. I took the UPF cards out, Coaxer Commotion, Gorganian Tome, there was something else. I can't remember what it was, the other one of. And I thought, it's fine, we're going to roll with this. Just put in some 6+ attacks, Humble, Command and Conquer. I thought, this'll do. So 5 to 8 in the morning, I'm sat writing this deck list out, which was atrocious, and it shows. I went 1-3 in the PTI event, and I dropped. There was just no point continuing. Yeah, not at that point. Round 1 was against Mark, who was super nice. He was on Dash, just a super nice guy. In fact, we ended up bumping into him on like multiple occasions. Like he came and like sat with us in the bar, and we saw him later on when we were messing with some cards that we'd bought from the vendors. He was there with his son, and like I think he said his son's partner and a couple of others. They'd all travelled in together. I think he said it was something stupid like a 4-hour drive. They live somewhere near Brighton, I think, if I remember correctly. Yeah, I wouldn't have done that drive. He was super friendly though, super nice, such a nice chap, and he was playing as Dash. Dash does Dash things in Blitz. I was playing KO. Kept rolling ones, like not even like joking. Like the first turn, I got a 6. Never saw another 6. Never even saw a 5. It was all like 1, 2, and 3s. Just not even the tease throw of the 4. Just awful. I even popped Gambler's Gloves after rolling a 1, rolled another 1. What can you do? So he beat me. Didn't do too much damage. I seem to recall him being on 14 life. Sorry, I don't have my notes with me because, of course, they're packed up now because I thought I'd already recorded this episode. But here we are. Oh man. Ah, yeah. What can you do? So second round was Oliver, who was super nice, and I actually said this to Martin afterwards. I cannot believe that I played against someone who was playing as Bravo when I did not give them a Bravo Bros seismic surge token. Like I had them right there in the quiver, didn't even clock in my brain to just say, "Hey, dude, have a seismic surge token." But anyway, he was super nice as well. We'd actually already met because we'd so to put context, they assign you a table and like a quote unquote opponent. You go sit at that table. They take your deck lists off you and they go through the rules of the event and stuff. And then round one gets paired. So me and him were this pre-event match that obviously never takes place. And we didn't really talk too much. It was kind of a, hey dude, how's it going? Oh, best of luck in your games. Take it easy. Fist bump. Off we went. So he was kind of like, oh hey, funny seeing you here. And we had a good game actually. He was like, I think he was starting to sweat a bit. I got him down. I think it was something like three, maybe 2, 3 health. And again, I could tell you if I had my notes with me. Um, they're at my parents' house because that's where I keep everything. um, and unfortunately, I had. It was one of them things where I'd rolled a 5. I don't think it was a 6, and then I went again. I got to go again, and then if I'd rolled a 5 or a 6, he'd have been seriously in trouble. And I rolled I think it was threes this game. I think was the magic number, and I rolled a 3, and just didn't happen. So it went from like 12 attack, a 3 attack from claws, and then it went to another 3 attack where really I wanted it to be 12, 3, and 12, and that would have really put him on the back foot. He'd have had to have finished using his equipment. I think he still had one, and that was on the tectonic plate aim. So have pretty much had to have used his equipment. He'd have pretty much used his entire hand, and it would have definitely given me a little bit more leeway. This was the first time as well I'd used. Basically was forced to use the headpiece, the Scowling Flesh Bag, I think it's called off the top of my head. Uh, he didn't have a card in hand to intimidate. I was just like, oh, I've got to use this to save my life. So it was a bit awkward actually. It did kind of make me consider whether or not it's overly viable. Maybe more in Rhinar, maybe KO. Doesn't feel like he really needs it. Maybe Crown of Providence is better just for the generic 2 and the sink below ability. So I don't know. I'm not going to test it because I have no intentions of playing KO like ever again, unless it's UPF. Then I might build another UPF deck. But anyway, round 3 was Katarina. They they were from Scotland, so I didn't, and they were wearing a face mask, so I didn't. I'm not going to lie to you. I didn't really understand a lot of what they were saying, because I couldn't really hear them properly. It was a loud venue, and they were wearing a face mask. I know they travelled from Dundee, and they were playing the new Prism. We had a hell of a game. It was actually really fun. I think it's because we were both kind of like, we're both 0-2. We ain't getting to the final. Let's just, why don't we have a giggle? They were playing Luminaris, so, and throwing a lot of phantasm attacks for some reason. Don't know why you'd bother. I literally just kept popping them. And even when they were like, oh yeah, I have haze bending, so it doesn't have phantasm anymore, I was like, okay. It's like the only attack that hit me the whole game. I think, in fact, I'm pretty certain I ended the game on like 18 life. You start with 19. It was very aggressive, very aggressive. My deck in this game, and started rolling the heat. Nothing but 5s, baby. Nothing but 5s. It was like roll scab skin leathers, 5, fantastic. Savage feast, roll 5, fantastic. Um, then it was like, oh, now I'm going to play. I drew a card. That card was Blood Rush Bellow. So I played Blood Rush Bellow, discarded another random 6+, drew 2 more cards, and then I through Wild Ride, which was rolled dice, 5. Couldn't have hoped for a better result. So it went to 12, +2 from Blood Rush, so it was on 14 damage. They had 5 health left. It didn't go well. They could only. She was like, okay, I can block one with Phantasmal Footsteps, and I can use my ability to bring out one of the angels, which will ward 4. So I can block 5. They had 5 life left, and I was attacking for 14. It's like, okay, call it there, eh? So managed to get the big W, which I was. Part of me feels like it was the moral victory because they were playing Prism, so it doesn't matter. I beat a Prism, and in convincing fashion. So yeah, pretty chuffed with that. Pretty chuffed with that win. Um, Final round was against Luke. Luke was playing his chain. Uh, it was good. Like I kind of was like, oh, it's chain. We know how this is going to go. And yeah, it pretty much went as you expected. I got creamed. Um, in fact, I think he only took like 6 damage, and he took that 6 damage on purpose so he wouldn't lose his husk. And then he just did chain stuff. He pitch stacked beautifully to a point where he was like, "Let me just flip the bottom of my deck and show you." It's like all his blood debt was at the bottom. He's like, "I'm losing cards a few turns, but come sort of turn 5, I'm gonna be pounding you." And it was a great game. It was fun. We had a laugh. It was more the fact that he was like, "Oh my god, you're playing as KO," and we both knew we weren't getting to top 8, so you might as well just have a giggle. And that was really it for the event. I dropped after that. Martin dropped as well. He also went 1-3. I'm not going to put word. Maybe if I had my notes, I might be able to help you out. But I know he went 1-3. He won round 1, and then proceeded to lose the next 3 games. Yeah, that would be right, wouldn't it? Yeah. He won round 1, then lost 3. So yeah, he was playing Bravo. And he even said there was a couple of games where he was like, actually, if I'd maybe done something different, I probably could have pulled it out there. But that's what this is. It's a learning experience. I didn't plan to be playing as KO. So, you know, everyone had a weird day. And that was really it for the event. We didn't get to do, we didn't get the feel, the same, it wasn't the same experience as the Battle Hardened that we went to. It was the people. There wasn't as many people there, which I understood actually, but only when I was there did I understand. Az wasn't there. He's in Switzerland at a PTI event there. Mason from the Go Again Gaming Discord wasn't going to be there on holiday. Dave, I think, was the same. I think he said he was on holiday. It was just me and Martin. The Cardboard Swords guys weren't there. There was 2 of them there, and they were kind of doing their own thing. I believe one was meeting up with some friend from uni. I don't know what the other one was doing. So yeah, so it was a bit like, okay, well, did get to speak with Hamish from Push the Point a little bit. I had the Metal Fab Token rune box off him. If you haven't seen the unboxing video, that is currently on YouTube at Big Boss Book Club. It's a really nice box. I don't know if Melfab tokens took maybe my initial comment the wrong way. I basically said I'd made a stupid purchase. That wasn't me saying that the deck box was stupid. That's me saying that I really shouldn't have been spending that money on a deck box that I didn't need. But it's absolutely beautiful. So and me being a compulsive shopper is difficult to resist. So yeah, I picked up the deck box. It's beautiful. The unboxing video is online. Big Boss Book Club on YouTube. Like, subscribe, click the notification button, all that jazz, and check the video out. I'm going to do sort of ad hoc videos like that moving forward on the channel. And then obviously every week I'll put up this podcast as a audio video. You're not going to see my face unless it's in like a unboxing video. And then you might see my face. You don't want to see my face. I have a face for radio. Yeah, so that was it. It was good. Like, it was great to hang out with Martin. It's always great to hang out with Martin anyway. With a few beers, some food. We played some cards. The hotel room was actually pretty comfy. Um, it was just a shame the bar didn't have draft beer on, and the fridges were warm. Um, but yeah, it was fine. We had some we had some we had a load of cereal bars. That was what we ate. Like, the weekend was cereal bar heaven, if you want, and Tesco meal deal and cereal bars. That was the diet for the weekend. So yeah, so that's really it. There isn't really much else to talk about. I'll be honest with you. The event, the event. I think, unless I know more people are 100% going, I probably would skip nationals next year. Just because, unless I qualify, which ain't gonna happen, but you never know. For any reason, if I'm able to go and play, I'll obviously go. But I think if it's like, oh, we're just gonna go for like the weekend, unless like more people are going, I can't foresee me taking part. If I'm completely honest, I think I'd wait for like a call in or battle hardened, and then go to that where I know it's going to be busier and I know it's going to be more people. And I'll bring my cube and I can get 8 players together and we can play the damn cube. um, cool. So I think we'll leave it there. I think we're about 15 minutes short of what the actual episode was before, but I probably did a lot more descriptive stuff, but I had notes where I thought this episode was done and dusted, so I got rid of the notes. So I'm really sorry. I'm going to be paying more attention to my microphone in the future and double and triple checking the recordings. So yeah, I apologise again. So this is a shorter episode. It's definitely not the episode I planned. It's not the episode I wanted, but it's the episode, unfortunately, you're getting. Me ranting and raving like a lunatic about how the attendance was rubbish. But I did get a Marvel Call Foil Bravo Star of the Show, which was a pretty good trade. Got rid of loads of stuff from my folder that I was like desperately just like, how, I don't know when I'm getting rid of this stuff. And Flesh and Blood Cards had enough of me and said, yeah, well, you know what? Let's do the deal. Let's get it done. So I was like, yes. And Martin bought himself Star of the Show to for the quote unquote Living Legend format, which, to be honest, he got the cards for a very good price. He pretty much had the deck sorted for 12 quid. You just can't really fault that, can you? It's just not a too much. It's not too high a cost. Um, cool. So, please go follow us on Instagram at Big Boss Book Club if you don't already. On X at Big Boss 010. Facebook Big Boss Book Club. Of course, the new YouTube channel, Big Boss Book Club. I will be uploading this podcast there weekly when it comes out, or whenever it comes out. Also, I'll be posting up ad hoc videos every now and then as well. So if you go like, subscribe, follow the show, you will get exclusive content sent to you wrapped in hardcore pornography just to hide the smut that you're actually listening to. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you for your patience. And again, many sorries that this episode had to be re-recorded and is now nowhere near as long. I'm Big Boss. I'm out. Peace.